Caitlin Clark is a superstar. Not a female superstar. She is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle. The WNBA has been looking for someone who moves the needle.
Cheryl Reeve once said she didn't give two bleeps about Caitlin Clark's impact. Now she's calling her a future Hall of Famer. What caused this massive 180? Does she really mean this? Or is she just caving in after being hammered by the entire world? Let's break down Reeve's journey from Clark's biggest critic to her newest fan.
But as a coach of the home team, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that other side. I mean,
I don't give two shits.
How about one?
Not even one shit.
Remember when Reeve dismissed Clark's impact the game? She straight up said, "I don't give two bleeps," about Fever fans showing up to watch Clark play against the Lynx. Talk about a cold shoulder. And how about that very public Olympic snub? Team USA almost lost to France in a nail-biter. But fast forward a bit, and suddenly Reeve's singing a different tune. Now she's praising Clark as a future Hall of Famer. What's up with that?
Hey, dummies. For the first time, in the history of basketball, you have arguably a player who is the most popular player in the world.
So how did Reeve go from team hater to team Clark? What made her tap out and change her mind so drastically? We're about to dive into this wild ride and uncover what really went down. Before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can bring more basketball content to viewers like you. Ready to see how this is all going down? Get ready for some serious WNBA drama.
Future Hall of Famer, and has had a great impact on the game already.
While Reeve was busy hating, the rest of the basketball world was taking notice. Clark's star was rising, and Reeve found herself on an island. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just fans calling her out. The backlash against Reeve was unlike anything we've seen in recent WNBA history. Remember that social media comment where Reeve agreed the league only cares about Caitlin? That didn't exactly win her any popularity contests. Fans went wild, calling her out for what they saw as a petty dig at Clark. It's like Reeve forgot the first two rules of the internet. Nothing ever gets deleted, and everything you say can and will be used against you in the court of public opinion. But it wasn't just keyboard warriors coming for Reeve. The real heavy hitters of women's basketball started weighing in, and let's just say they weren't Team Reeve. Rebecca Lobo, a legend in her own right, stepped up to the plate. She praised Clark's unique pace and skill, basically saying, "Hey Cheryl, you might want to take another look."
I think certainly can. I think they can, obviously they're not only in the postseason, I think they can win a first round matchup depending on who they play. Right now they're seeded to play the Connecticut Sun, and this is a team, and the last time that these two teams matched up, Indiana did win that game.
Watch out for the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark.
When someone like Lobo speaks, people listen. And what they heard was a clear message. Reeve's take on Clark was way off base.
Any second guessing here about not having Clark on the Olympic team?
From me? No.
The Olympic snub added fuel to an already raging fire. Why? Because in the court of public opinion, she'd already shown her cards when it came to Clark. Fans connected the dots. And suddenly, Reeve was the face of what they saw as a major injustice. Every time Clark stepped on the court, it was like she was proving Reeve wrong without saying a word. Her performances weren't just winning games. They were winning hearts and minds. And with each jaw-dropping assist or clutch three-pointer, the pressure on Reeve grew. Media outlets started picking up on the story, and not in a way Reeve would have liked. Her comments were being dissected, her decisions questioned. It wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was about recognizing talent and the future of the league. And in that conversation, Reeve was coming up short.
I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around. Because Caitlin Clark's not on the team. If she's there, it's appointment TV. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum, and study it for how dumb you are.
The real kicker. Clark's popularity kept surging. Merchandise sales were through the roof, viewership numbers were climbing, and suddenly everyone was talking about the WNBA. All because of the player Reeve said she didn't care about. It's like Clark was single-handedly proving her wrong, and Reeve's earlier dismissal was looking worse by the day. Reeve's reluctance to even discuss Clark's Olympic future didn't help her case. When reporters asked about it, they got curt responses that only made Reeve seem more out of touch. It's like she was doubling down on a bet that was clearly not paying off.
Caitlin Clark is PR. That's where, how can they leave her? Once again, everybody's, out to get her. They don't want to grow the game.
As the pressure mounted, you could almost see the writing on the wall. Something had to give. Reeve, a respected figure in the league, was finding herself more and more isolated. Her views on Clark weren't just unpopular, they were starting to look downright stubborn in the face of overwhelming evidence. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
What I think makes her special, I know everyone will talk about the logo threes, and Steph Curry did that for the NBA, right? Think about his popularity because his ability, this little guy, slight of build, running around splashing threes everywhere, right? It's exciting.
As the dust settled on Reeve's initial comments, a storm was brewing in Indiana. Caitlin Clark was about to unleash a season that would shatter expectations and leave the basketball world in awe. How did this young phenom just force her harshest critics to take notice? Let's break down the numbers that made Clark impossible to ignore. From the moment she stepped onto the WNBA court, Clark dominated. She averaged a staggering 19.1 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. Those aren't just good stats for a player. They're league-leading numbers as Clark sets the pace for total assists and three-pointers across the entire W. Clark not only topped all first-year players in both scoring and assists, but she's setting a new standard for the entire league as a whole.
She knows how to lay it out on a dime. Her court vision is impeccable, and now her teammates are ready to catch the ball. They trust she's going to get it where it needs to be. But y'all, the favorite part of my game from Caitlin Clark is this behind-the-back pass. Come on now. I love it. I love it. And that wasn't just one time. She does that on a frequent and drops it right there. Perfect to Aaliyah Boston.
So let me just sprinkle in, because you mentioned AB. Two of those highlights, I believe, were a Clark-Boston connection. Those two have been the second best scoring duo in the league behind Asia Wilson and Jackie Young.
But Clark wasn't content with just leading the pack. She wanted to make history. And boy, did she deliver. In a game against the Dallas Wings before the Olympic break, Clark dished out a mind-blowing 19 assists. That's the most assists ever recorded in a single WNBA game. Think about that for a second. In her first season, Clark outperformed every player who's ever stepped foot on a WNBA court in terms of playmaking. And in her most recent game against the Las Vegas Aces, she just broke the single-season assist record held by Alyssa Thomas of 316 dimes. No one in WNBA history has dished out more assists than Clark. How's that for making an impact, Cheryl? Clark's three-point shooting was just as impressive. She leads the league in most number of three-points made per game. She's creating categories of her own, being the only player in history with 100 three-pointers and 300 assists, not to mention at least 700 points for the season. This girl isn't just participating in games. She is rewriting the record books with every performance. Clark's stellar play has led the Indiana Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016. She single-handedly transformed a struggling franchise into a contender. That's the kind of impact that can't be ignored, no matter how hard some people might try.
Who is the most dangerous team that you think no one in that top half wants to see right now? In the bottom half, I think that Indiana is a problem.
But Clark's influence extends far beyond the court. The WNBA has seen a massive surge in popularity, and there's no doubt that Clark is a driving force behind it. Merchandise sales have skyrocketed. TV ratings are through the roof, with some WNBA games even outperforming other Big Four sports broadcasts. The 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, where Clark was the main attraction, pulled in a record-breaking 3.4 million viewers. What does all this mean? It means Caitlin Clark isn't just a great player. She's a cultural phenomenon. She's bringing new fans to the game, inspiring young players, and elevating the entire sport of women's basketball. And she's doing it all as a rookie. So, how could Cheryl Reeve possibly maintain her stance in the face of all this evidence? Clark's performances were so dominant, her impact so undeniable, that even the most stubborn critic would have to admit defeat. The numbers don't lie, and in Clark's case, they tell a story of unprecedented success and influence.
It's helping the whole game. Wake up.
Cheryl Reeve's criticism seemed set in stone until it wasn't. What prompted this sudden 180? Was it Clark's undeniable talent, mounting pressure from experts, or something entirely unexpected? The reason behind her change of heart is more complex than you might think. Let's rewind to Reeve's initial stance. She didn't just dismiss Clark's impact, she flat out said she didn't care about it. But fast forward to today, and we're hearing a completely different tune from the Minnesota Lynx and U.S. Olympic team head coach. So what gives? In a recent podcast appearance, Reeve dropped a bombshell that left WNBA fans stunned. She admitted, "I wish I had Caitlin Clark or Maya Moore on my team." Talk about a complete 180. This is coming from the same coach who once couldn't be bothered about Clark's influence on the game. It's like night and day, folks. But here's where it gets really interesting. Reeve didn't stop at just wishing Clark was on her team. She went on to praise Clark's skills in detail, focusing on aspects of her game that truly set her apart. "I know the sexier part is probably the logo 3, Reeve said, but the pace and the passing is what makes her exceptional. This level of specific praise shows Reeve's not just jumping on the bandwagon. She's actually studied Clark's game and recognized her unique talents.
To have this rookie class, led by Caitlin, who, is sort of driving, the media, the interest, the business.
So what caused this dramatic shift? Was it Clark's record-breaking performances that we talked about earlier? Or was it the overwhelming support Clark received from fans and other players? Maybe it was the backlash Reeve faced for her earlier comments? The truth is, it's probably a combination of all these factors. Clark's on-court dominance simply couldn't be ignored. When a player comes in and starts breaking records left and right, even the toughest critics have to take notice. And let's not forget the impact Clark has had on the league as a whole. Reeve, as a seasoned coach and advocate for women's basketball, would certainly recognize the value in that. But here's the million-dollar question. Is Reeve's change of heart genuine? Or is she just trying to save face after facing so much criticism? That's the debate that's got WNBA Twitter buzzing right now. Some fans are applauding Reeve for admitting she was wrong, while others think it's too little, too late. But let's not forget the timing of all this. Reeve's praise comes after months of criticism from fans, players, and media analysts. It's hard not to wonder if this change of heart is at least partly motivated by the desire to quell the backlash she's been facing. On the flip side, we can't discount the possibility that Reeve simply realized she was wrong. As a coach, part of the job is evaluating talent and admitting when you've misjudged a player. Clark's performances have been so impressive that they might have genuinely changed Reeve's mind about her potential impact on the league. Whatever the reason, one thing's clear. Cheryl Reeve has officially joined Team Clark. Her recent comments show a level of appreciation for Clark's skills that goes beyond just jumping on the bandwagon. She's specifically praising Clark's pace and passing ability, showing she's really studied her game. Let's wrap this up. Cheryl Reeve's journey from Caitlin Clark critic to fan is wild. Clark's insane rookie season stats speak for themselves, leading all rookies in points in the entire league in threes and assists. That's next level. No wonder Reeve changed her tune. But here's the million-dollar question. Is Reeve for real, or just trying to save face? She's now wishing Clark was on her team. Talk about a 180. What do you think? Did Clark's game really win her over, or is Reeve just feeling the heat? Let us know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe so you never miss out on the latest news. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.